Have you ever wanted to play the part of a tyrannical vampire, preying on the innocent, building your army of the damned, and taking the world by the jugular and drinking it dry? Then V Rising might just be for you. Enter the world of V Rising, where you play a vampire of your very own imagination and creation, and to enter the world and take it back from the humans which have forced you and your vampiric brethren into the shadows, into isolation and into starvation. Kicking off the game, you are greeted with some pretty cool looking menus which give you some different modes of play to experience, with online play, playing on public servers, and starting your empire in the online world. Private game allows you to host your own environment and allows you to invite only those dearest to your cold dead heart to join in the unholy resurrection of your vampiric empire, or allow you to play through the game alone and offline. Hosting a dedicated server, meaning that you can rent a server which is all yours, or set up a server of your own so people can come and play in the world that you have built. For the most part, I have captured this on a private game, and just played this by my lonesome, just so I can get a good feel for what the game has to offer, and take my time understanding how the mechanics of the game work. Each game mode offers a PvP and a PvE experience, so depending on how you want to play, you can choose this at your leisure. I have also found that there are some servers which do a 6 months rolling reset, meaning that your character will survive for 6 months before the server resets and your character dies. Once you have selected the game mode you wish to play, you are able to then shape and mold your vampiric visage by selecting different faces, hairstyles, skin color, hair color, facial hair, accessories, and eye color. Now, it's worth noting here that there are character models that look, to me at least, extremely similar to the early models of Night Elves from World of Warcraft in terms of their overall body shape and stance, which I don't really feel either way about. It's just what the overall character shape and stance remind me of. Once you're done shaping and moulding yourself into the vampire you want to be, you awaken in a crypt and get a quick rundown on how to use the controls for the game. While the game looks similar to that of Diablo in terms of view, you actually need to use the W, S, A and D keys to navigate the world. Where the mouse comes in handy is what you're looking at or targeting when walking around or fighting. To get a better sense of this, you can also hold down the right mouse button to control where you are going in conjunction with the W key. And I have to say, this control style layout does take a little bit of getting used to, and in the first instances of combat, I did find myself struggling a bit to get the hang of this to progress through the game. But just hang in there. Just because it's a little different from what the normal control layout is, doesn't make it bad, it just makes it different. You'll get the hang of it soon enough, but personally, I think maybe a target selector hotkey might make the difference and make the game a little more accommodating to the user. The opening area of the graveyard is just a testing ground for the game, as nothing more than an opportunity to get to grips with the controls and combat, and also, yeah, the goddamn sun. V Rising has a day-night cycle, meaning if you're out and about during the daylight, you best stick to the shadows, because old mate UV is coming for you, and the game does not offer you a sunscreen with SPF 1 million to save you. What you will learn in the graveyard is that as you defeat enemies, they will drop resources for you. These resources allow you to craft better armor, better weapons in order to survive the world you now find yourself in. The first thing you will need to do is craft a set of bone weapons and armor. Once you're out of the graveyard, you're now in the larger area of the game where you will need to survive, and now you have a new ability called feeding, and you couldn't experience this in the graveyard because everything in there was already dead. However, for the living animals and humans, you can feed on them when you bring their health down to a certain level, and what you may notice as you play through the game is that each enemy has a percentage next to them. What this percentage means is how strong their blood type is, and what that translates to into the traits that you will inherit from feeding from them. For example, if I feed on a wolf which has 5% attributes, that's the level of traits I take on from the wolf, which is 5%. But if I feed on a wolf with a higher percentage number, then I can check the benefits I would inherit from the little icon on the left of the globe of blood in the center of the screen. It's worth noting here that you need to be careful when feeding, because the traits don't stack. So if I feed on a human who's a 50% warrior trait, then I feed on a wolf which has 5% creature trait, all my statistics would then change to the wolf with 5%, replacing all those benefits I got from the human warrior. This is regardless of same or different species. The new percentage always replaces the existing. So think about what you're putting into your vampiric body. There might be a message in that.
Ah, what the hell? Let me try it. It's good.
So, now that you're out in the wild, you'll need to craft bone axes and a bone mace. This is to harvest trees, plants, and stone respectively. This is where the crafting element of the game really comes in, as you will need to find a place within the world where you can lay yourself to rest. And what does every vampire need to achieve this? Why, their own castle. To achieve this, you will need to find a location in order to establish your own property. So consider what is nearby, what has adequate shaving for those daytime exploration adventures, and what resources can you harvest. Once you have your location set, you can then build the heart of the castle. The heart effectively stops the grounds from decaying and maintains the structure for you, but you need to feed your castle heart with the same red stuff that you need to feed yourself with. Luckily, it drops from everything living that you kill. You'll then be able to lay some foundation floor, which will stop trees and rocks from respawning in the area, and put some walls in place to start with, along with some doors, and you'll have the makings of your own vampiric fortress. However, early on in the game, you can't make a roof, and while you can put down a coffin and storage locker and smoke braziers to block out the sun, you can't put a roof on, and this is where the game for me brings in the grind. So to enhance your powers, you can track down and target animals and people, which will allow you to inherit a skill set or new power. The first of which is the Alpha Wolf, which allows you to take on a wolf form after killing it. These special enemy types give you new vampiric abilities to change the way you can move about the game. And after this, you kind of get trapped in a loop of harvest, refine, upgrade, track, kill, and repeat. The next boss after this is an archer, and at the moment I haven't beaten her yet, because with the gear I have and how well guarded she is, I have found it damn near impossible to get this done while playing solo, which makes the game a little disheartening to play, because without killing her, I don't unlock a new set of powers to use, and in addition to that, I cannot unlock the technology required to progress through the game either, and to continue upgrading my castle. And what that means for me, for the soloist, is that if you don't grind this down and find a way to beat the archer, you're stuck. And there is literally nothing left you can do with the game until you pass the boss. So, is it worth playing V Rising? Well, if you're up for a challenge and don't mind the grind, or are going to tackle this with some friends, then 100%. V Rising is fantastic. It offers a unique perspective for a vampiric survival game. But if you're looking for a story-driven game, from my limited experience with the game, I can't see much of a story component emerging, which might deter you from wanting to grind out the requirements and progress further through the game. I haven't experienced this aspect of the game, but it does look like you can sire new vampires and create servants to look after your castle and assist with resource management. And I'm wondering what else the game has to offer. So for me, I'm going to keep playing and pushing through because I enjoy the paradigm that the game offers in terms of playstyle, but I think I'll be rounding up a few friends to help.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Now for me, I would probably add in some features to the game with the likes of target locking when combating an enemy and enemy scaling. So if I am on my own, it might be more achievable for me to take on my nemesis, the archer, for now. And if my friends are with me, then that means it'll make it that little bit harder for me and my friends to achieve taking down the archer. So, should you decide V Rising is worth sinking your teeth into, or already have done so, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.
First up.